The total interest, if I were to magically pay off all of my student loans before federal forbearance ends, that I will pay is $75,000. $75K of money I didn't borrow. Welcome back to Wine and Chill. I'm Stephanie, and we're going to do our March student loan update. Yes, March. You heard that right. Don't worry, April will actually be on time because I'm filming them both today. So all the student loan updates are always retroactive. So the March student loan update is what I paid in the month of February. The month of March is my birthday month. Shout out to all the Aries. So I went on my Kenya trip. It was amazing. The vlog should be coming out soon for Patreon first, and then a shorter one for YouTube, but like the full length one will be on Patreon. So yeah, so I'll keep y'all updated. So I promised y'all a budget video, but Biden decided last week that he was going to extend the student loan pause. So I figured we would talk about that. And then in the April video, we'll do the budget video. Every month we talk about how much I've paid towards my trifling student loans. So if you're new here, I started my student loan journey February 14th, 2020 at $304,618.17 trifling cents. Yes, you are hearing that correctly. The amount I paid in February was $7,783.59 trifling cents, which is a lot of money. We're going to talk about the breakdown of where that money came from. I started the beginning of March at $184,029.97 trifling cents. I'm almost at the halfway point. Cheers to being almost at the halfway point. We're having water and chill today because I'm filming this in the morning. So the exciting things that happened in the month of February, since this is the March one and it's retroactive, I paid off student loan 14. Yay. So that student loan, the starting amount of that student loan was $23,952.78. So it's gone. Goodbye. Sayonara. I will not miss you. I usually put a star on my chart, but y'all know when I moved, I lost the stars and I haven't replaced the stars. So I need to just suck it up and get new stars. That's what I need to do. But yeah, so I paid that off. So all I have left are my big three, my largest three student loans, which range from $52,000, $58,000, and $61,000. Yeah, but that's okay because I'm making my way. I started with 23 student loans and I'm down to 3. So I'm excited. It's good to see progress. It's good to see that all of the money is kind of going towards things. So about the breakdown of where that money came from. So I have been paying from my paycheck around $4,500 a month. I think the split now, because with my new job, I make less than I used to make. So I think the split now might be 62%. It's like it's like 60 to 62% of my check is going towards my student loan now. I need to redo the number. It used to be, at one point I had it at 65, and then I was like feeling real frisky. I had it at 70. That was too high. 70% of my paycheck made me very sad. So 60% is fine. A large chunk of that money came from my employer. So the company I now work at does student loan reimbursement. You get $2,000 every year that you get to apply towards your student loan. So I paid the $2,000. They gave me back the $2,000 as a reimbursement. I then used the reimbursement money and paid the student loans again because I have so much loans. So I'm excited about that. So kudos to them. Also, I got very lucky. I started that job in January. January was the prior fiscal year. Their fiscal year ended January 31st. So for this new fiscal year, which started February 1st, I can do student loan reimbursement again. So yeah, I'm going to do it later on in the year because that'll be like a nice extra payment, like December time. It was $2,000 from my student loan reimbursement from the company, $4,500 from my paycheck, and then the rest of that was YouTube and Patreon. So shout out to y'all. Thank you. Whenever you support this channel, that is where the money goes. It goes towards that. The Patreon money goes some towards student loans, a lot towards maintenance of the channel. Now that we are to the big three, the big three are going to take significantly longer to pay off. So introducing the new student loan, which I'll be paying off for many, 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 many months, hopefully sooner than later, gets paid off. Student loan number 15, principal balance. And I'm saying it like that because we're going to talk again about what the hell principal balance is defined at in terms of student loans. The starting point for student loan 15, I'm going to start with the actual starting point of how much work I'm going to have to pay off on it. And then I'm going to get into the numbers because the way that student loans are set up in such a predatory manner irritates my spirit. And then we're going to talk about Joe. but we'll leave Joe to the end. So the real starting point is $57,742.57 trifling cents. So that's what I'm going to be paying off. Now, that is not the original amount I borrowed. That is not the principal balance. The original balance I borrowed, according to Fed Loan, is $43,802. And 0 trifling cents. Look at that. It was even. The principal balance is $52,521.87 trifling cents. Now, why is there a difference between the original balance and the principal balance? And that's because capitalized interest. When you take out a Grad Plus loan, which are for any graduate program, there are also other undergrad programs that do this as well, but specifically all Grad Plus loans, if it's a federal loan, do this. And then some private student loan companies do this as well. Your student loan starts compounding on the day you sign the paper. Your undergrad loan, most of my undergrad loans, the interest didn't start until after I graduated. It don't work that way for Grad Plus because they hate students. So they tally up all that money that accrued while you're in school, and then instead of just it being interest, they tack it on, and then you get a new principal balance. So now the interest rate that they're charging you is on a higher amount, therefore putting you in more debt. Because it's predatory. This whole thing is predatory. The unpaid interest now is the unpaid interest from after capitalization that has accrued over the past, when did I graduate? 2016? Almost 6 years. So that is $5,220.70 trifling cents. So to put that into context, again, the total interest on this loan so far, since we are in 0% forbearance, if we weren't in 0% forbearance, this would be much higher, is $8,719.87 trifling cents. $8,719.87 trifling cents of money I did not borrow just on this one loan. Yes. And as a sad reminder to me and to you, and so we all are on the same accord that interest is trifling, the total interest, if I were to magically pay off all of my student loans before federal forbearance ends, that I will pay is $75,000, the minimum. $75K of money I didn't borrow. Because 6, 7, 8, 9, 10% interest rates were assessed to my student loans, which is predatory. Particularly when you look at that 2/3 of the people that hold student loans are women. And then when you slice all women throughout the United States that are student loan holders by race, the majority of those women are Black women. Yes. Because we are constantly getting screwed. Student loan forgiveness is very much a racialized issue. I will be paying off this loan. Definitely, I think I'll be able to pay it off by the end of the year. Fingers crossed. Hopefully sooner. It's been fluctuating, my YouTube and Patreon money. Well, my YouTube money has been fluctuating. The Patreon money has stayed pretty stable. I am hoping to get back into, doing more content, on a regular basis. March, your girl was burnt out. I was burnt out, and so I decided I was just going to take a little break. But yes, we're back on it. So let's talk about Joe. So Joseph Robinette Biden announced last week that federal student loan forbearance is getting extended again for the umpteenth time, only until August 31st. It was originally expiring on May 1st. Why only an extra 3 months, you ask? Why just keep dangling the carrot in front of people? It is very disingenuous and annoying, to be honest. I'm very frustrated with it for the simple fact of once you do the math, which y'all know math is not my ministry, so sometimes my math is wrong. So I have to do the math again and again and again. So once you do the math 100 times to figure out how much you owe and to see how much money you're technically saving, not really saving, being saved from with federal forbearance, now I'm terrified of the interest on my loan. For context, my Fed loan daily interest rate was $39.78. $39.78 every day, which I will do the math again live. Hold on. Is $14,519.70 trifling cents a year. It has now been 2 years. So that's $29,039.40 trifling cents that I have been spared from due to federal student loan forbearance. That's $30K. That's a lot of money. I'm very happy that I haven't had to pay an extra $30K on top of the $75K of money I didn't freaking borrow. So every time they just extend by a couple months, it's very annoying. It's very hard to plan around that because at this point, I'm just trying to throw as much money as possible towards the principal balance, which is not the original balance of the remaining student loans, because once the interest gets turned on, it's just going to roll down a hill like a snowball. Just roll and roll and roll and roll. The only way to pay off your student loan is you have to pay down the principal balance. The only way to pay your principal balance is you have to pay the interest first. The loan provider won't let you pay your principal balance without paying the interest. Interest gets paid first. Once you pay off the interest on that loan, then it applies the payment to your principal balance. And some student loan providers, Sally Mae was like very weird about it, where it would split up the payment. Every student loan provider does it differently, but Fed Loan does, you have to pay off the interest in full first before it even touches the principal. Some will do like a little bit towards the principal, mostly towards the interest. They have all different ways to calculate it. It's annoying. And it's all designed to just keep you in debt. So, do I think we are going to get student loan forgiveness? I doubt it, but you know what I think is going to happen? Come September 1st, after it expires, probably like 2 weeks before, because they love to do everything last minute, and it's right before midterms, they will extend it again. Like, yeah, here's a couple more months, here's a couple more months, here's a couple more months, because it's just dangling the carrot to get people to vote, to continue to believe in the false promise of student loan forgiveness. Do I think we are actually getting forgiveness? I have no idea. If it's going to happen, it's not going to happen until 2024 if Joseph Robinette Biden decides he wants to run again. To which then he'll say, come on, I know I made you all that promise. All right, here's some money. I'm very irritated with Joe. I find his behavior to be very disingenuous. What has Joe done? Joe doesn't keep no promises. So I would recommend, because I know a lot of people are waiting on like, oh, I don't want to pay it off if we're going to get forgiveness. If and buts were candy nuts and every day would be Christmas. I would rather just make my plan and stick to my plan and see what happens, to be honest. Because I feel like you can't depend on the federal government to help with anything. All this taxpayer money going where? Again, I would like an itemized receipt. I think we deserve one. I think it'll probably get extended again. It is doing a great service to people to have federal student loan forbearance. A permanent solution is actually needed. A permanent solution of reducing our student loan interest to something much more reasonable, like 2 or 3% would be amazing. It doesn't get to the root of the problem, which the root of the problem is why have institutions of higher learning been allowed to charge these rates for school? School shouldn't cost us much money. It doesn't cost us much money to keep a school in business. It doesn't cost us much money to keep lights on. Colleges and universities just don't care to use that money on actual students. Students don't need a provost. They don't need a vice president. They don't need a president. They don't need all of these admin in all these schools that don't teach classes. Law schools are notorious for this. Professor salaries also haven't risen, so they don't give the money to the professors. They're not giving the money to the students because our tuition is so high. Where is the money going? That's really the question of the day. Where is the money going? So, on that note, how are you doing? How are you feeling? How's your student loan journey going? I'm curious to know, what do y'all think is going to happen with our federal student loan forbearance? Because at this point, I've kind of gotten used to them just extending it, but I would rather just a permanent yes or no. So that way we can plan. Because all of a sudden, there are a few different scenarios. So there are people like me, like where I am fortunate, where I've been paying way above my minimum payment. I pay around, this month I paid a lot. Shout out to my job for that student loan reimbursement that we get. But I pay around like $5,000 a month. That's a shit ton of money. It will be so, to be honest, defeating. I feel pre-defeated about it when the interest starts tacking on. Because it'll be like I'm trying to dig myself out of a hole while someone's just throwing dirt in the hole. That's what interest is. You're just sitting there digging. Like, okay, I'm going to get out of the hole. I'm digging to the bottom. Once I get to the bottom, I'm digging a well and someone's just throwing dirt in it, just throwing dirt on you. That's what student loan interest is. It's predatory and it's wrong and it's taking advantage of people. People who went to school to do the right thing. Wild. This country is wild. Also, having gone to Kenya and come back, Kenya gave me such like peace of mind that part of me, I had half the mind while I was there. I'm not going to lie, because I use these videos also to be very honest about long-term student loan journeys, like long student loan journeys, like people that have 6-figure loans, upwards of 50 grand, where it doesn't get paid off in a year. It doesn't get paid off in 2 years. It takes multiple years. Some days I'm super excited. I feel like I'm making progress. And some days, like when I was in Kenya, half my mind was like, I have paid now almost, I think, $140,000 over the past 2 years. That is so much money. Part of me, sometimes a little bit, if we're being very honest, is tired of it. I don't want to give Fed loan my money anymore. I don't. When I was in Kenya, I'd have the mind to like, hey, are y'all hiring? I'm happy to just live here, and help y'all and do this, because what's the point? What's the point? But that's not a good way to think. So I pull myself out of that. But sometimes I do think it. I do. It can be very frustrating. It can be very frustrating. So now I'm trying to set the mini milestone, which is my next mini milestone, because the payoff for student loan 14 or 15 is going to take a hot second. It's $57,000. My next mini milestone for me is getting to 150, because 150 is my halfway point. 150 is my halfway point if student loan forbearance continues. If student loan forbearance kicks in, then the number is going to grow, which will screw up my math, because y'all know that the math is already struggling. Yeah. The next video, which I'm literally going to film right now, we're going to go through budgeting. Only way I'm able to pay this much money and feel comfortable every month towards my student loans is A, I make enough money now to do it. Yes, I do. Yes, I make 6 figures. B, because I have a budget and I know where the money goes. I know it goes here, it goes here, it goes here. It goes towards my trip towards Kenya, which I saved a long time for. It goes towards my student loans. It goes to this. It goes to that. I have to eat. You know, I don't have to buy these earrings, but I like supporting a local business by Union Square and getting these earrings. So yeah, let me know how y'all are feeling, how you're doing. And if you think we're going to get, before the year ends, some type of permanent solution towards our student loans. I hope so. Who do we have to call? Who do we have to call? That's what I need to know. All right. I'll see y'all in the next video.